Multiply whole numbers and fractions. Whole numbers can be turned into fractions by putting them over 1. So let's look at the first example. If a person spends $3,000 every month on expenses and 1/6 is spent on housing, how much money exactly is spent on housing each month? So we're going to go ahead and multiply this 3,000 then times this 1/6. So let's go ahead and make the 3,000 to a fraction by putting it over 1. Then we're going to multiply 1/6. So let's go ahead and multiply. So we're multiplying the top together and we're multiplying the bottom together. Now we can just go ahead and 3,000 times 1 is just 3,000. 1 times 6 is 6. Then let's go ahead and now start to reduce this fraction. So notice both of them are even. So let's go ahead and divide by 2 on both the top and the bottom. So what does that become? So 3,000 divided by 2, so we're just cutting in half, is 1,500. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now notice we have a 1,500, right? So we have like a 15. So if you can kind of just like ignore the 2 zeros, you notice that we can probably actually divide or factor out, like write another 3 in this number on both the top and the bottom. So it's just 1 on the bottom then, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1,500 divided by 3. Let's go ahead and look at that. Well, 3 can't go into 1, but it can go into 15 5 times. We go ahead and subtract, we get 0. Go ahead and bring down a 0. 3 can't go into 0, so it's just 0 on the top. So we subtract, we get 0. Bring down the 0. Once again, can't go into 0, so it's just 0. So we get 500 on the top. So what's our answer? It's 500, and it's in terms of money, right? And we could do it over 1, but it's understood that 500 is over 1. So we could just write it as 500. Now let's do another example. Example 2. There are 18 kids in the classroom. If a third of them brought a turkey sandwich for lunch, how many kids exactly brought a turkey sandwich for lunch? So we'll take this 18 and we're going to multiply it by a third. So we have 18, which we'll put over 1. And what's a third, right? It's just 1 over 3, right? So let's go ahead and multiply. We're multiplying the top together. So we get 18 times 1. So that's 18. And then on the bottom we have 1 times 3. Now we know that 18 there is a factor of 3 in it, right? There's more. So we can go ahead and remove that factor on both the top and the bottom. 18 divided by 3, well, that would be 6. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this is just 6. So we would say 6 kids in the classroom brought a turkey sandwich. Now let's look at another example. Example 3. If there are 6 kittens and each weighs 2/3 of a pound, how much do they weigh collectively? So we're going to multiply the 6 times 2/3. So we can go 6 times 2 over 3. And we're going to put this over 1 to make it a fraction. We're going to be multiplying the top, and then we'll multiply the bottom together. But let's do a trick here, because we can see that 6 and 3. So let's go ahead and divide out a 3 on both of them. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So now we have the top, which is 2 times 2, so that's 4. And then on the bottom, we have 1 times 1, so that's 1. So our answer then is 4. So the kittens collectively weigh 4 pounds. Now let's do another example. Example 4. We're going to use this expression below to solve and reduce the fraction. So we have 12 over 5 times 7. So let's go ahead and just rewrite this. So we're going to go ahead and put this over 1 to make it a fraction. We're going to multiply the top. and then we'll multiply the bottom together. So 12 then times 7. And so I'm going to show you actually a quick trick. So sometimes I forget what multiples are, like say 12, right? 12 times 7. Sometimes I forget right off the bat. And so what I can do is I break this into 10 and 2, right? So we have 12. So 10 and 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and multiply this. Usually I can do this in my head. And a lot of people do this. Or if not, you can also do it this way. Because anytime you go, right, you go 10 times 7 or 10 times any number, it's just going to be that 10, right? So it's going to be 70, right? If it's 10 times 5, it'd be 50, right? Now we know 2 times 7 is 14. We go ahead and add these up, and that's 84. So rather than doing 12 times 7, maybe you can do that in your head. You can go, oh, okay, wait, 10 times 7 is 70, and then 2 times 7, because we have to do the leftover, right? And then that'd be 14, and then you can add those two together. So that's 84, and then we're going to put it over 5, because 5 times 1 is 5. And that would be our solution, because it's reduced. There's nothing else we can further reduce this fraction by.